So I'm pretty sure everyone watching this is familiar with Nickelodeon, a television network with live action and animated content specifically targeted towards kids. They even had a sister channel called Teen Nick, which was aimed at teens, another sister network called Nicktoons, which primarily featured animated content, and another sister channel called Nick Jr., which was aimed at preschool-ish kids. However, late at night, when those kids go to bed and the adults are still up, Nickelodeon turns into Nick at Night, which primarily featured reruns of adult sitcoms from the 90s and the 2000s. Also, late at night, Nick Jr. turns into NickMom, which, as you can imagine, was targeted towards mothers. Now, the NickMom programming block launched on September 29, 2013, and was on every night from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time until the programming block ended on September 26, 2016. Now, apparently there were over 30 projects in development for this block, but there's only one show that I remember from this block. One show that I loved from the moment I first saw it. Instant Mom follows the life of a woman named Stephanie, who marries a doctor named Charlie and becomes the stepmother of Charlie's 3 children. This all comes as a culture shock to Stephanie since she has never had any kids of her own. Anyways, I've always loved this show, but because it was featured on NickMom and Nick at Night, and I was 12 at the time that the show was airing, I couldn't stay up to watch Instant Mom, so I would record it every Thursday night and then watch it when I got back home from school on Friday. Man, the days of cable were something else. Now, what I love about Instant Mom is that first of all, it's funny. I feel like every single character in this show really carries their weight, with my favorite characters being Maggie and the youngest son, Aaron. This show is also very relatable. Many people, myself included, have a step-parent and live in a blended family, and growing up with that kind of background and seeing a show like this when I was the vulnerable age of 12 really helped me a lot. I feel like I resonated with this show because I got to see my family represented on TV, and on top of that, Instant Mom was a show about a black family, which makes it even better. Also, even though this show was intended for a more mature audience than most of Nickelodeon's content, it isn't inappropriate for a 12-year-old to watch. The show is rated PG and it's more like a family sitcom. You know, there's no drugs, no alcohol, no cursing, none of that. Anyways, moving on to the characters. So, I've been watching several shows that Tia Mowry has been working on post Sister Sister. I watched The Game, and I did not like how Tia's character Melanie was acting in that show. But I really like Stephanie's character. Stephanie is very down to earth, and even though she messes up a lot, she always has good intentions. My favorite thing about Stephanie is how she really steps up to the plate as a stepmother. She's actively involved in Gabby, James, and Aaron's lives, and consistently treats them as her own. Now, Charlie Phillips is the father of the family, and I would say he's the straight man of the show. While everybody around him is vibrant and eccentric in their own ways, Charlie's a very serious person. He is what keeps the show grounded. He's also a surgeon, which just adds to like his serious, grounded vibe. But Charlie does have a goofy side to him too. Although most of his jokes come from him responding to the wackiness around him with a witty comment that Michael Boatman delivers so well. Now, Gabby is Charlie and Stephanie's oldest child, and she's played by Sydney Park, who I loved as Little Sydney on That's So Raven. Now, I would say Gabby's a pretty average teenage girl. She argues with her parents about curfews and rules about dating and stuff. She has a sibling rivalry with her brothers, particularly James. She loves hanging out with her best friend Molly, and she's very stylish. But one thing that stands out about Gabby is her relationship with Stephanie. I feel like out of all the kids, Gabby has definitely benefited the most from having Stephanie as a stepmom. Whenever Gabby and Charlie argue, Stephanie acts as a mediator between the two. Also, with the kid's biological mother out of the picture for the most part, Gabby really needed a mother figure in her life, and Stephanie was all that and more. Now, James is the middle child, and he's played by Tylen Jacob Williams, and Tylen's older brother Tyrell played Leo Dooley in Disney XD's Lab Rats, and their oldest brother Tyler played Chris in Everybody Hates Chris. And honestly, all 3 of those brothers look exactly the same. Anyways, James is a typical preteen boy. He likes video games, pulling pranks, hitting on girls, and out of the 3 kids, he's typically seen as the troublemaker. However, something I like about James is that if he believes in something, he'll stand by it and won't let anybody stop him. Aaron is the youngest child, and he is just adorable. Every time that little boy walks on screen, I just smile because he has so much charisma and he's so entertaining, and it just feels so natural. And sometimes Aaron feels like a grown adult trapped in a kid's body, but he still has the naive mind of a little kid, which makes for some interesting scenarios. Damar Calhoun does a really great job. Now, last but not least is Maggie. Maggie is Stephanie's mother and is often visiting the family's home. She's the most loud and dynamic character in the entire show, but also the most interesting and entertaining. She has all the catchphrases, all the glamour, and makes an already great show an excellent one. And what I like about Maggie is that, like Stephanie, she claims Charlie's kids as her own. Maggie is also proof that even though you're older, you don't have to be dull and boring. Maggie was a whole grandmother after all, but she was still so fabulous all around. Overall, all of the characters in Instant Mom work so well together, and it just helps to create such a quality show that I recommend everybody goes and sees if they have the chance. Anyways, that's it for today. See you another day.